Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at a few new items here. So I have one of the Nordstrom anniversary sets. This is the Nars duo in Laguna and Ablaze. So I wanted to check out those shades of the sticks. We also have the brand new Westman Atelier Peau de Parla. This is the super loaded tinted highlighter, and this was gifted. Thank you so much to Westman Atelier for sending that. In addition, we have a new shade of, well, new to me shade. It's not a new shade in the line of the Chantecaille lip creme. So I have the shade Bamboo here. This one was also gifted. This was gifted, in honor of their sale. So every year they have a friends and family sale, and it's going to be starting on July 24th for early access. You can use Lexi25 to get 25% off and early access to the sale. So just something to note, they do often have like a Sylvie 30 code that comes out, around the same time, or sometimes it's like a couple days later that gives you 30% off. So just a note there, it might be better to wait for that one, but I'll post that as soon as I see that available. So if you like the warmer kind of brownish tones that I have on today, let's take a look at the items I have here. And we're going to start off with the Nars pencils. So actually, when they first came out with their eyeshadow pencil formula, I tried a couple of the shades in the matte sticks. And then this duo here in the Nordstrom anniversary sale caught my eye because they looked really pretty, kind of like my in the photos. They looked like a taupe and a champagne, which are kind of my go-to shades in eyeshadow sticks, and I love ones with shimmer in them. So wanted to check these out, even though typically Laguna is kind of a warmer shade on me. So let's take a look here, and let me go ahead and put this one here. So this one here is Laguna, and as you can see, it's definitely warmer than what the promo photos show. This is really going to be more of a copper bronze. And it's got a beautiful shimmer in here, but it is going to be a warmer tone. Then we have the shade Ablaze, which is a nice shimmery champagne, like an ivory champagne. There is a little bit of warmth to this. You get a little touch of gold in there. You can see this one is pretty light and sheer. So this is one that you can definitely use as a topper, and it's not that opaque. We'll see that in just a second on the eye demos, but first I wanted to swatch the other shades that I had purchased previously. So this one here is Living Sin, which is more of that taupey shimmer shade that I was looking for. Really pretty shade. I prefer the Living Sin. It does still have a touch of warmth. And then we have Don't Touch. This was the first one that I purchased, which is going to be a matte shade. You can see this is kind of like a soft, almost like a rosy clay shade. So let's go ahead and take a look at Laguna and Ablaze on the eyes here. So if you purchase this set from the Nordstrom anniversary sale, it retails for $46 US. And again, we have two full-size eye crayons at 1.6 grams each, with an 18-month shelf life, and these are made in the USA. If you are purchasing the eyeshadow sticks individually, they retail for $34 US each. Now, according to Nars, it says draw attention with an ultra creamy eyeshadow stick that applies high impact color and sets to an all-day crease-resistant matte finish. Fueled by FlexiLock technology, it forms a long-wearing flexible cream with a smooth glide application for easy-to-blend, buildable color. The formula is transfer and smudge-proof, crease-resistant, and perfect for day-to-night wear. So I think that description kind of starts from when they, started this line and they had just the matte shades, but these are both going to be shimmer sticks. And again, Ablaze is going to be much more sheer. It's not as opaque of a shade. So that can definitely be used more as a topper. And overall, though, I have to say, I do find the formula description to be fairly accurate. I don't need to wear a primer with these eyeshadow sticks. They're creamy, they go on easily. You've got just a little bit more time to kind of blend these out before they set than something like the Bobbi Brown eye crayons, which are my personal favorite. So you've got about another 10 seconds or so before it fully sets. So you've got plenty of time to kind of blend and play with these. And I think they're a really beautiful formula. I would love to see the color range expand and have some more cooler tone options. But I think this is a nice set, warm. It gives you kind of that burnished fall look or that hot summer sun look. So overall, I'm happy with the eyeshadow duo. And again, I do find that the Nars eye crayon formula is a very nice one. It's one of my personal favorites. They just don't have the best color selection in my opinion. All right, so one more time, let's just take a look at those shades. So again, these two are in the duo. We've got Laguna and Ablaze. These two are ones I had previously. We have Living Sin and Don't Touch. And I think, again, great formula, but my favorite of these four is going to be the Living Sin, but I tend to go for those cooler taupe shades all the time, so it's kind of my go-to. Now, let's go ahead. We're going to move on to, let's start off with the Chantecaille lipstick, and then we'll move into the Westman Atelier. Now, I'm a big fan of the Chantecaille Lip Creme lipsticks. These lipsticks came out about a year ago, and I have purchased quite a few of these. So I think I have the majority of the shades, probably. And anyway, so when Chantecaille offered to send me an item in honor of their sale, I chose this lipstick in Bamboo, which was on my wish list. So I definitely wanted to check this out. A lot of people in the comments had told me that this was, you know, their favorite, like, perfect nude shade. And I'm always looking for a great one. So you can see here that this is going to be a soft peachy brown kind of hue. And in the demo, I'll show you the color straight up, but right now I did add a little bit of a lip pencil underneath, and I used the Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk Fair just to kind of line the lips. And I smeared it just a little bit, so I got a little bit more pink. So I just wanted to kind of show you what that looks like on top. So you can see it gives a slightly rosier hue. So let's take a look at the demo, and then we'll come back and swatch some more of the lip creme shades. The Chantecaille Lip Creme lipsticks retail for $55 US, and we have 3 grams of product. They are made in Italy with an 18-month shelf life, and they are gluten-free, vegan, and PETA approved. They currently have 14 shades in their color range here, and Bamboo is described as a warm brown nude. So I think that's a pretty accurate description. One of the things that I love about the lip creme lipsticks is actually the packaging here, because it is 100% recyclable. The case is completely made out of aluminum. We don't even have like the little bit of plastic holding the tube or holding the actual bullet in the tube. So it is completely recyclable, and I personally am a big fan of that. The lip creme lipsticks are considered a full coverage lipstick, so you definitely got that opacity there, but they're very creamy and comfortable. They're more of there's a little bit of a soft sheen to them. They're not going to be a high shine finish, but they're also not going to be a true matte finish. So they have kind of this soft, not even a satin sheen, more of a creamy sheen to them. And I think they're just a really beautiful formula, and they were one of my favorites when they launched for the year. You know, like, they are just such a great lipstick. So let's go ahead and move on to a few comparisons. And as I mentioned, I have quite a few of these. So this one here is Plum Blossom, which is a really beautiful kind of warm rose shade. But you can see this definitely has a bit of a warmer tone in there. You've got a little bit more of that. There's a little warmth, a little orange in there. Then we have Moon Orchid, and this is one of my favorites. I love this shade. You can see this is a nice reddish berry here. You know, it's more red than crushed raspberry, but kind of like more mulberry-ish. And then we have Cherry Blossom. This is a really pretty shade as well. This I love for summer because it's kind of that brighter watermelon red, but it's got a little bit more of that neon quality to it. Anemone, I think this was actually the first one I purchased, and I really love the formula. You can see this is going to be kind of a rosy pink as well, but it's going to be cooler in tone than Plum Blossom. Rose Myrtle. This is another one of the ones that I purchased originally, and you can see this one here is kind of like a mauvey shade. There's a little bit of a brownish hue in it, but this is really going to be kind of like a rosy mauve. Barbary, and This is going to be a really beautiful kind of a burgundy deep red. This, I believe, came out for the holidays last year, and I love this shade. It's definitely a little bit more red than actual Barbary Bush, but it's a really beautiful shade. And then we have Red Lily, which is a really pretty kind of your classic red. It's neutral, but you can see, depending on how you shear this out, when you shear it out, it actually looks like it has a little bit more of a cooler undertone. But when you build it up, it actually looks a little bit warmer. So it's a pretty interesting shade. Depending on how you want to use it, you can get slightly different hues out of it. So these are all of the Chantecaille lip creams I have. And again, this is Bamboo. This is Bamboo over the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Fair lip pencil. So really some great shades here. And let's go ahead and move on to the Westman Atelier. All right, so we're going to start straight off with the Westman Atelier demo, and then we'll move into the compact and comparisons with the other super loaded tinted highlighters. This is a new shade that is exclusive to the Westman Atelier website at the current time, and possibly for forever. You know, Peau de Parla is another exclusive shade that never ended up going to another retailer. So at this point, it's hard to say whether it will be available at other retailers. It is not currently listed as coming soon anywhere else. Now, Peau de Parla is a shade that's been available in the lit up highlighter sticks. Unfortunately, I do not have the lit up stick in Peau de Parla. The super loaded tinted highlighters retail for $75 US, and they have an 18-month shelf life with 4 grams of product, and they are made in Italy. Personally, I love the formula of the super loaded tinted highlighters. These are a creamy formula. Some of the shades are a little bit deeper. I can even use them like as an illuminating blush. But I just think that this is a really nice creamy formula that has a little bit of grip to it. According to Westman Atelier, it's a hydrating multi-purpose cream highlighter that delivers a luminous finish on cheeks and eyes. This soothing, creamy formula is super loaded with skin-nourishing ingredients and treatment benefits for a beautiful boost of glowing color. So as you can see in the demo, I want to show you kind of what it looked like with a lighter application. So I used the T47 from Isom, and I applied just a little bit to the right cheek. There's no blush or anything there. We're going directly on top of foundation. In this case, it's the Cle de Peau Radiant Cream Foundation in shade I-10. You can see that it gives you kind of this soft sheer finish. And this is described as an oyster pearl shade, and I'd say that's pretty accurate. This is a champagne toned highlighter. Then on the left cheek, I wanted to show it a little bit stronger, more intensified, so you can really see the depth of color you can get. So I used a bit more product and kind of went over that. And then I went over that again with my fingers to add even more product, so you can really see how deep it gets. This is never going to be a highlighter that gets super deep or dark, but you're going to get that beautiful reflective shine. For today's look, I decided to pair it with the Westman Atelier stick in Petal. So I have that blush on with just a little bit of the Peau de Parla Super Loaded Cream Highlighter on top. So let's go ahead and take a look at some swatches here so you can see I've got quite a few of these highlighters. All right, so the Peau de Parla highlighter comes in shiny gold packaging. One of the things I don't love about this type of packaging though is this is my Peau de Santé, which is in this rose gold packaging, and you can see that, sorry, trying not to get the reflection, but anyway, it's been chipping off over the years. So I've got these like black spots all over from the actual finish coming off. The super low tinted highlighters and the original shades still come in this like matte black packaging, and then we have a different shade kind of here on the side so you can identify it, and I actually prefer the matte black packaging. So just a little side note there. But let's go ahead and take a look at these. So if you're not familiar with these yet, they do come in a heavy metal compact here. We do have a mirror, and this is going to be a firm cream formula. We're going to go ahead and place a vertical swatch of it going down so we can really compare our shades. So this is Peau de Parla. Now I have almost all of the super loaded tinted highlighters. The only shade I don't have is Peau de Soleil, which is kind of a deeper, warmer shade. This one here is Peau de Pêche, which is one of the first shades. And I think it's a really pretty shade. And I'll try and sheer it out a little bit there. But you can see it's going to be a little bit warmer than Peau de Parla. And it's got more of that peachy hue to it. It's almost like a softly burnt peach. And this is one of my favorites from this line. With the Peau de Peche, it's a shade that I can actually use kind of as more of like a bit of a bronzer even. So this one here is Peau de Rosé. And this is going to be a cooler pink shade here. You can see we definitely have a bit of a cooler tone shimmer in this, but the pink shade itself is going to be more of a soft neutral rose, leans slightly cool, but it's not an overly cool shade. This is another one I personally really reach for a lot. This one here is the Peau de Santé, and this is going to be another pink, but this is going to be a bit warmer, and you can see it's also a little bit more sheer, but you can see this is going to be more of a peachy pink, and it has just a little bit more of that golden reflect to it. So it's a warmer version there. And then one of my personal favorites, I feel like I'm saying that a lot with these, but I do really love this product. This is our coolest tone. This is Peau de Peony. And this is another one that is exclusive to the Westman Atelier site. And you can see this is going to be a cool, vibrant pink, almost like a soft fuchsia pink. So we've got Peau de Parla here, which is kind of a champagne, but it's a warm champagne. Peau de Peche, Peau de Rosé, Peau de Santé, and Peau de Peony. So I hope that was helpful. Let's just do a quick summary of everything we looked at today. All right, so we started off with the Nars eyeshadow duo, and we have shades Laguna and Ablaze. And let me just show you those one more time. So you can see they are both going to be shimmer sticks. This is kind of a warm bronzy copper hue. It's going to be more opaque versus Ablaze, which is going to be more of a warm golden champagne. And it has less opacity, so it's a shade that can be used as a topper, or you can use it on its own as a light shade. Then we went in with a new to me shade from Chantecaille in the lip creme. This is going to be the shade Bamboo, which is just a really pretty soft warm brown. And then from there we took a look at the new Peau de Parla from Westman Atelier, which is a pretty warm, more, I don't even want to say a true golden champagne because it's more of a peachy golden champagne hue, but you can see we've got some really pretty warm tones that kind of all go nicely together. So overall, we've got some great formulas here. Very happy to see and pair these together. I think it's a nice warm summer look. And again, don't forget the Chantecaille Friends and Family sale is going to be starting on July 24th. You can use Lexi25 to get 25% off in early access. But there is typically usually a Sylvie 30 code as well. So definitely try that one as well. So I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.